Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about rings. Now, before I get started, I just want everyone to know that this review is a little later than I usually post my reviews. I like to post them when I see them, if not a little bit later. But this movie took a while for me to process, simply because I have a lot of thoughts to put into this review, and it took me a while to put everything in how it should be. So let's get started. Now, before I get really into it, when I first saw the trailers and how it was being marketed and all that stuff, I was always thinking to myself, this looks like a soft reboot, and it is. It's a soft reboot, Reigns, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. There are a couple that are enjoyable or really good. For instance, the best soft reboots, well, technically soft reboot, that I can think of off the top of my head would be Star Wars The Force Awakens. A lot of people complain that it's basically a New Hope, but it works as a soft reboot, and it's the best one we have that I can think of right off the top of my head. So at this point, it doesn't really bother me, but it is what it is. As for all the right ones, we have Blair Witch, and that was the first movie I reviewed, and it's fine. So, and that's kind of what Rings is. It's just fine, but let's get into the plot. That would be, if you've seen The Ring, then you basically know the plot of this movie. But for those who don't, I'll explain real quick. Basically, there's this videotape that will kill you after 7 days after you watch it because it's cursed. And in this movie, it's in here, but it's also used with email. So okay, whatever. It's a soft reboot. I can forgive this. They're going to make changes. Whatever. But this time, when somebody watches one of the videos, the footage changes into something else that no one else has seen, and the characters in this movie are like, "What? Why did it change?" And then one person says, "Well, maybe it's just for this one character, Julia." I can't remember the actress's name, but don't worry, it'll be in the description below. After she watches it, she kind of goes through the similar footsteps to move on from, like, The Ring. You know how after what's her name? I can't remember. She watches a video and she tries to figure out the clues to why this is happening. And in this movie, the same thing happens, but it's with different footage, and ultimately it's a very similar movie. So, as I said earlier, this movie's just fine. Now, the positives are the story itself. I found it to be intriguing because the new footage thing and how it's used to get to clue to clue to clue. And I really liked that part of the movie. Another thing I really liked, it was the cinematography. I thought was really good at times. I'm not going to get into specifics right now, but if you watch this movie, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. I mean, know what I'm talking about, sorry. One more thing is the way it ends is something I also enjoyed. You can, although it's kind of iffy, because it doesn't exactly go with the story, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to why it's happening, and it kind of opens up a bunch of plot holes. I mean, a few plot holes, but it works, and I enjoyed it for what it opened up to. Other than that, though, there's not much else to note. The performances are fine, the characters are one-dimensional. There's not much I can talk about without getting into spoilers, and although this isn't a very long movie, I think it's like an hour and a half or so, roughly. It's not very memorable, and my biggest issue with the movie is whether you decide to see it or not. I just feel that you won't get much out of it. You'll see, oh, this was cool, but that wasn't, and that wasn't. Neither was that. But oh, I like this, but that's really all there is to it. If you watch Rings. Also, this movie has like a 3-minute scene that kind of rips off "Don't Breathe," and that's something I found to be distracting, and it pulled me out of the movie. One other thing is, if you've seen all the trailers, then you might be expecting something really scary, like from all these different images. This creepy imagery, like the ring on this one goes back. I guess she's like takes off her shirt. But this movie was delayed, I believe, by 4 months. It was originally supposed to be released in October of 2016, but then it got moved 4 months later. And I have a feeling it did reshoots. Just kidding. I know they did reshoots because I saw, I believe, every last trailer or advertisement for this movie. And I noticed that this movie did a lot of reshoots because there's quite a few things from the marketing and such that are not in the movie. Like, I think you saw it here. You see our main protagonist, Julia. She, looks in the mirror. She sees Samora. She turns around. And you hear a little creepy voice like, Julia, what do you want from me? like this grabbing Samora grabbing Julia by the head with both her hands. That's not in the movie. It's kind of Rogue One, the Star Wars story scenario, so it's kind of sad to see that this movie was pushed back, and while I feel that added a little bit more, because in the movie I suppose that would be kind of stupid, it's just kind of annoying when that happened. So in the end, this movie has a couple good things, an intriguing story and some pretty good cinematography. Those are the two major highlights I could find. But the characters are one-dimensional, the acting is fine. Outside of all those things, everything else is just fine, and it's either what you've seen before or reshoots that you were completely, may have been intrigued by, but in the end you were just wondering, why was this not in the movie outside of reshoots? So I'm going to give Rings a C-. I don't think it's terrible, I just don't think it's very good. Thank you as always for watching. If you have thoughts on Rings that are different than mine, let me know down below. And also, if you comment, don't forget to like this video or rate it and subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation. And I'll see you when I get my next review up. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.